Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this update we're going to talk about the importance of anchoring your volume weighted average price. Now, an anchored VWAP is something that anyone can use and something that everyone can benefit from, and is the first step for many traders from the leap from price-based indicators, price-only based indicators, into volume analysis. It's probably one of the easier ways to do that. Now, there's three volume analysis tools that I use. One's the VWAP, the volume weighted average price. The other is VProfile, the volume profile. And the last is something I created called the V-score. Now, all of these look at volume as the priority, price as not the priority, meaning we're looking at size. And size does matter, gang, in the markets. We want to track that size. And so take a peek at our daily NQ chart here. Now, this is something I talked about in the chat rooms, and you'll see the notes there on the left side. Volume is a key part of my process. A 10-day anchored VWAP and the first of the month anchored VWAP are two levels that I'll always have on my charts on the daily. And today, the NASDAQ opened below both. Now, here's the tricky part. The NASDAQ was double green, meaning our 8 was over, our 13 was over, our 21 was over, our 34. Okay, so that's good double green structure. But when we open below both of these, there is a higher probability of weakness. Now, this is a dramatic example, but it's not the only example. Take a look at Amazon. Same two anchored VWAPs, same situation, open below, trading below, both the 10-day and the 1 month anchored. If you're going to think about shorts, that's where you think about it. Now, let's contrast that with the XLC or even the XLY. Trading inside those two, right? We're not quite breaking below. So I think the NASDAQ and Amazon showed that, when you're inside the two, there's going to be, I think, still some lingering strength if the preceding trend was up. But if you've opened below, as the NASDAQ and Amazon did, and you're looking for a short, or you're looking for somewhere to short the market, that's a pretty good place to start using these volume studies. I still like the long side of the market. So even though the NASDAQ was melting down, what we started looking at were opportunities in names like XLY and XLC. We started thinking about relative outperformance in the Dow and looking long in the Dow, looking long in financials. And so one of the things that we did, and I'll recap this more when we get into the premium video, is my futures traders, this morning's day trades were wonky at best. I did not persist in short-term time frame trading when I didn't have my edge. So what we did is we transitioned to what I do in the latter half of the day. How do we look at swing entries and things like bonds? How do we look at swing entries and things like gold? How do we manage our open positions long in things like crude oil and gasoline? How do we manage open positions in things like Canadian dollar and wanting to get into the euro and the Australian dollar? And then we move a little further into the market. We say, look, if we're index futures traders, we have to accept we're stock traders. And if we're stock traders, we can start to look at the differences in relative outperformance in the XLK versus the XLC, which is something we got long in. So this is where my life in the futures room and the sector secrets mastery start to overlap. And it's an interesting overlap because what happens is this is where we say to ourselves, the entire market is not weak. We really have tech dragging certain facets of the market lower, but we have incredible strength and intact uptrends in a number of other places. And yet the market does seem often too predisposed to what's going on with FANG, too predisposed to what's going on in tech. But if you are predisposed with FANG, you're looking at XLC and saying, heck with the NASDAQ, we've got great relative outperformance in Facebook and Google. And this is where, if you're a futures trader wandering into stock and ETF options trading, you're already understanding the way in which we parse sectors and individual stocks looking for relative outperformance. And that's really exactly what we did today. And frankly, it was a terrific day. We actually already hit the first target on our Bank of America buy as it was pulling back. We bought the 40 calls at the 40.05 trigger, all the way down to looking at that 40 major psychological level with our first target at basically 41. We scooped up some XLC on the weakness because it was a relative outperformer. We scooped up some some XLC 76 calls. We got down to 76.30. We're open to doing that at 75.70. We had a zone that we wanted to buy. Those are already up, and I'd love to see the first target tomorrow. We looked at relative outperformance in the Jets, and we looked for some scooping up love while it was moving down into the zone. So what I'm trying to encourage you is to be look, here at Simpler Trading, we trade everything. We look at crypto, we look at options, ETF, futures, stocks. And what we're able to do is find where the relative outperformance is. We can find relative outperformance within futures. This is something we've done for a while. We can find relative outperformance within stocks and ETFs. But if you can find relative outperformance within comparing futures to stocks, to ETFs, and then getting specific to sectors, and then the stocks within them, now what you're able to do is really have a well-rounded and I think smarter approach to where your best opportunities are. So I hope this kind of elevates that discussion. Again, anchor those volume-weighted average price levels. You might say, you know what, Rag? Love is tricky. It is. And that's where I'm going to be very cautious about the position sizing. But what I want to remind everybody is that 1 month and 10-day anchor is really much more of a day trading tool, not necessarily going to limit what I'll swing trade in. It's more of a day trading tool. So when we open up below those, think about that. So I've kind of run you across a number of topics, a little bit of a broader conversation. Hope it helps, and I'll see you in the next update.
Without Simpler Trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me